Do you have any theories as to how that first crucial leap happens into this stuff? Because it seems like once you open the door, like you just said, you're in this, and then you can just mix it up, whatever, anything goes. But how does that
Yeah,
first leap happen from being,
yeah.
a reasonable human being to just believing in all of this stuff at the same time?
For a lot of people, it is trauma. There is a traumatic upbringing. There is a traumatic
That's
relationship,
interesting.
a disease, an injury. You see it a lot with modern conspiracy theories where, a person's just kind of living their life and then they get a medical bill that they can't pay. And suddenly their life starts to spiral out of control. They're in a car accident. They have a brain injury. They lose their job and they can't get another one. Their wife leaves them. Their kids suddenly cut off contact. Something happens to them. And rather than look either inward at maybe something they did wrong or look at the systemic issues in our society that, certainly for Americans, can push a person to bankruptcy because of one medical bill that you can't pay. These are systemic problems that are really a reflection on a society that doesn't function particularly well. But people want to believe that there's something else going on. They really want someone to blame for what happened to them. And so often when you start looking for somebody to blame, you find Jewish power, you find Bill Gates, you find the Illuminati, you find big pharma, you find people who did something to you. And I think there's a very innate sense in a lot of conspiracy believers of powerlessness, that they don't matter, that nothing they've done in their life is important. And suddenly when you start believing in conspiracy theories, you feel more important. You feel like you've cracked something open. You feel like you've discovered the reasons why things are happening. And if you are really good at it, if you are prolific and you become kind of a well-known person in that world, you start to feel like you have powerful enemies. And those enemies want to crush you because you're exposing their evil plans. It's the difference between you're walking down the street and an air conditioner falls on your head and crushes you. You don't want to believe that was just bad luck. And if you'd taken one step further or were one step behind, it wouldn't have hit you. You want to believe somebody pushed it. You want to believe somebody wanted to take you out because you were a problem. And conspiracy theory thinking really revolves around that sense of powerlessness and grievance and anger. So it really can be just one thing that goes wrong in your life and opens you up to believing that there are global forces at play who are trying to keep you down.
That's actually kind of sad.
Oh, it's incredibly sad. I have a lot of pity for a lot of conspiracy believers. I feel real sympathy for a lot of them. Not the ones who kill people or storm the Capitol, and certainly not the gurus, the promoters of these theories who are making enormous amounts of money. But there is something very, very deeply affecting and sad in people who have turned to these movements for comfort and lost so much else in their life because they just couldn't stop.
Yeah, I just thought it was maybe more of a general political sense of being despondent, or feeling powerless, like you said. But it makes sense that there's some personal trauma mixed in there. Makes a lot of sense. Yet it makes it quite, sad and tragic. I'm certainly not a psychologist, but it seems to me that one of the appeals at the heart of every conspiracy theory is that mechanism that kind of simplifies this overwhelming complexity of the world, and turns it into a black and white kind of morality tale, and places the believer with the good guys, and it becomes kind of like, we're the Fellowship of the Ring fighting the evil forces of Mordor.
Yeah,
um,
no, it's a lot of what is so appealing about QAnon is we're the digital soldiers. We're fighting back.
right.
We're all in this together. Where we go, when we go, all. It's a sense of brotherhood and community. It's totally part of it.
In the previous episode, I hosted Professor Agustin Fuentes on the pod. He's an anthropologist from Princeton who wrote a book about why we believe what we believe. It was a really interesting conversation.
Mm.
He explained that our beliefs, in fact, do become our reality in more ways than one. And not only that, our beliefs determine how our brain and our bodies behave in the world, actually. So how do you think we can reach someone whose reality is Little Gray Man and the Illuminati, a reality that is so far removed from our own reality?
It's very difficult. It's and in fact, it can be almost impossible if that person is so committed to this reality that they don't want to leave. They have found something that explains the world and explains the way things are and why we're living like this. Why so many people are struggling so much. Well, it's not these socioeconomic forces. It's not the sort of American inequality that's sort of baked into our system. It's the Illuminati. It's the Jews. It's Bill Gates. It is these theories are incredibly complicated, but they are also very simple. And the appeal of the simplicity is what keeps a lot of people in it. If you're in that conspiracy movement, it's almost like you don't have to engage with the outside world, and it's scary and hard, and that's what keeps a lot of people in it. And unless somebody sees that, unless somebody kind of realizes that this movement is not valid, it's not true, it's keeping them away from actual people who care about them, as long as they want to be in it, it's almost impossible to get somebody out. They have to want to leave. They have to want to see the cracks in it and want to do something about it. And you can't make someone do that, unfortunately.
All right. Thank you to my lovely patrons, Taichi, Carmen, and Veronica. Thank you for your support. You're amazing. If you want to support Eurotrash too, you can do that. Just go to Patreon and find me there. All right. Thanks again.